Hey everyone, welcome back to more Flush and Bad, and today we're going to be playing Elly's List. So one of the most frequent comments I think on that last video was just requests for gameplay, so we're going to try to do that today. So unfortunately Elly wasn't able to stick around for gameplay last time, but I'm going to do my best today to at least try to give this deck kind of a fair shot. So one of the most notable or the funniest things about like this deck is that the public win rate is like pretty bad. So like 380 games, about 24% win rate. So this either suggests to me two things. Either one, the deck is very hard, or two, y'all are just bad. So maybe in an effort to prove one of those 2 points, I'm going to try to play this deck myself. Now I have about 3 to 4 reps on the deck, so not too many, but I haven't actually played the hero before, so I kind of just like wanted to get a couple reps beforehand. But I think that was also like a week ago, so like I don't know how much that counts. But anyways, we're gonna basically go in blind, no practice, just trying to use Elly's notes from the video, or at least the best that I can kind of remember them. And we're gonna try to do the best to kind of play this deck in a way that at least is somewhat confident. All right, so my goal for this video is I want to try to win 3 games, and I'm actually going to try to set a little timer for myself just to see how long it actually takes me to win 3 games. So we could be here all night. We could also be here, we could just end this video after 3 games. Both are possible. But yeah, without further ado, we're going to go and just play this deck. Again, I'm going to try to sideboard this list to the best of my ability, but again, I'm not Elly, so very likely to also make mistakes, make a fool out of myself, that kind of thing. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into the games, and I hope you all enjoy. Playing against a Marionette, so this could be good or bad. So I think we went Crown of Providence based on at least my conversation with Elly. So I think it was Crown of Providence and Snapdragons are like your default, and then these 2 helmets are kind of like your additional kind of go-to. Into Marionette, I assume we probably want some number of sync belows, but they do kind of hurt the overall game plan a little bit, but we'll still kind of stick with them. And then I think we're going to keep the Razors in, and then maybe bring in like overcrowded Palm. It seems like vaguely correct. We might also want the Snatch, but I think maybe swapping the Snatch for the sync below seems somewhat reasonable. Let's go ahead and give this a try, see how it goes. All right, so we are going first, which is quite nice, and I think they are fat decking us fully, which also makes sense given that we're playing Pleiades. So this is actually really nice here. We can kind of go start with or I guess, sorry, one minor misplay is we should actually play the Palm out first, just to kind of inform our decision here a little bit. Also, I need to like, hold on. Actually, I didn't realize I wasn't logged in, so give me 1 second. Okay, make that a little bit less annoying. So we Palm first, draw the short shift, which is fine. Go ahead and just play out the Active Glory here. An Arsenal Shrift. I don't know if we want to move a counter at all, really. So you may remove us. You may put. So we could actually remove it from the Palm and just pop Palm next turn. And it's not terrible. And then we can just pass here. Again, I don't know if that's like fully correct, but we'll go ahead and give it a shot. At least the nice part is they are fat decking us, which means they're maybe expecting kind of a different game plan here. We do have the Imposing turn 1, but I'm probably just leaning maybe towards that Embolden. I feel like there's no real incentive to block the pain in the backside since they do have like Flick available whenever they pretty much want. So we'll go ahead and I think just take this. Get a little bit aggressive here. Especially since they're fat decking me, like I feel like I'm incentivized to play a bit more aggressive since we're running like a lean 60 into their like kind of crap rest of the deck. So coming in for 5. Oh, interesting. Those show like chain links. All right, so they're going to be sitting on a sink below an Arsenal here. So I think we're just going to take the damage. So we know they're on react, so we're not really too incentivized to actually do anything into them. So they'll get to flick into they'll flip into a random Arachne, sit on a sink below. I think both of those things are fine for us. All right, they get red back, which is not bad. Oh, we actually drew the what happens next, which is actually quite nice. So you can play the what happens next, and I believe that this effect should apply to the Embolden now. You go and get to draw another card. That's great. In the palm of your hand can draw us into another card, which would then let us E-strike, which is interesting. And it would also give us something to put a counter on the what happens next this turn. So maybe this is actually kind of fine. So we can like draw, E-strike, do all that fun stuff. Trying to think if there's any merit to like E-strike snaps into Moment Maker. It's like pretty aggressive. I don't know if we actually like need to do that. Like maybe the best play is actually just E-Strike. Maybe we do go for the E-Strike go again. It actually seems like pretty good to go E-Strike into Moment Maker. Or at least it's like pretty high damage. The only issue is we are using our like snaps right away, but I guess we will just go ahead and draw a card. Okay, so this was unfortunately the punish. Yeah, a little unlucky here, but that's fine. So I guess we don't actually have to use our snaps here. We can just go ahead and let this go. I was trying to get a little bit greedy and try to follow up with the Moment Maker, but maybe that's not correct. Not the end of the world, though. I feel like our head was at least in the right place. So let's go ahead and take the palm off here and then put it on the what happens next. And unfortunately, we're IPing with the sink below here, but that's fine. Ooh, Turning Point's actually quite disgusting here. So you can potentially just stuff their thing with the Turning Point. That being said, this is Kiss of Death for 11. That being said, they're pretty much always going to guarantee this is able to hit with the red back. So maybe we're just going to commit the Turning Point here. And then I'm wondering if we give them any other blocks. Getting the cheer for the what do you call it? The confidence token is actually quite nice here. I think the play is like maybe we just kind of throw the Wrecking Ball in front of this too. They can follow up with a Leave No, which we have the sink below for still. So it would very much, I guess, depend on what they draw off the top. But I think I'm kind of okay with this. We can actually throw the Iron Fist in front of this too. The issue is then TTox, but I guess TTox is always kind of an issue. I feel like this is like the most aggressive line. I'm going to try to take it, but I could definitely see getting punished by blocking with the Iron Fist there. I guess we are just losing out on like potentially 1 value if we lose the other blocking, or I guess 2 value if you lose the counter plus that. All right, so it looks like they unfortunately had the natty, which is a little gross. So I think we're just letting this resolve at this point. Yep, makes sense to me. Maybe we got a little bit greedy on the Iron Fist there, but still not the end of the world, I feel like. Okay, and they're just passing, which is great. So wondering if I want to do anything end of turn here. I could actually just Pallades put this in the put a counter on the in the palm in your hand. Or like move the counter and just pop it on their turn. Maybe that's actually fine. So we take the counter here, draw a card, tension in the air. And then we put a counter on the what happens next. Oh, and then we can actually just like play this out, play tension in the air. That's actually kind of disgusting. Okay, wait. I think we're cooking. So now we get to hit them with the Shrift. The one awkward thing is I guess this other what happens next is kind of like a little bit redundant, but I think that's fine. I mean, this is 16 on hit, discard a card, so it's definitely not too bad. Like, I feel like I'm at least doing something powerful here, even if I might not be playing, like, completely optimally. So I think what were our big misplays so far? It was mainly the blocking on the Kiss of Death was just a little bit... I think I just tried to guess that they weren't going to have it, but maybe it's still fine. So hit them for 10, they discard a card, that's great, and now we have... Oh, they discard Codex. That's pretty good for us. Now I get to sit on Sink Below, and then eventually have a pretty decent next turn. So the what happens next is going to go away, which means we weren't going to get the counter for it, so we should probably just move it now, right? Unfortunately, we don't really have a ton to do with it. So we can either move it to the tension if we don't want to pop the tension next turn, or we can move it onto what happens next just to keep it around for longer, which I think is probably the smarter idea. I think it's fine to let the tension pop because we can just throw it on the E-Strike or whatever. All right, getting a trapdoor here, which could be a little bit good for them. Or it's probably going to be inertia trap most likely, so this should be pretty good for them, I imagine. We still do have the tempo here, at least a little bit. So we could imposing for something, but let's start, I think, with the embolden here, just so we get the card draw. Because we could end up going like Moment Maker into, or E-striking the Moment Maker, something like that. And we could tutor out a card here. The issue is they're going to inertia trap me, and then I'm going to lose my arsenal, which feels pretty bad. I don't think there's really an alternative play. Yeah, the Moment Maker actually wouldn't even get turned on if we imposing really. Let's go ahead and just do E-Strike go again into Moment Maker just for the most damage, but I fully expect to get inertia trapped here. Which is a little bit unfortunate for, I guess, the sake of Sink Below. I wonder if it was maybe better. Oh, I actually just realized my OBS setup was slightly off tilted. Sorry about that. All right, so I imagine we're getting inertia trapped here. Makes sense. Maybe it was better to use the Sink Below on that one turn that we could have. Yeah, maybe a slight misplay on my hand, but I feel like we're still like not doing that badly. It feels like obviously some misplays here and there, but like the deck still feels like it's kind of doing a powerful thing. Oh, and then this flip is actually going to be quite rough. All right, they flip into Orb Weaver, so they get their Glycera back. So yeah, pretty good from their side. And yeah, that inertia token is definitely pretty backbreaking. At least the nice part about this hand is if they do go for like on hit discard or something, we can kind of just like dump our entire hand, which is kind of hilarious. The only issue is we would lose the Embolden though, so we probably don't want to do that. Ideally, don't want to do that. Right, but if they're just attacking with Clave, I don't actually feel too bad about this. All right, start to shoot. Yep, makes sense. So what are we just hoping to dodge here? Basically Codex. It's probably the most annoying thing, or like a Mark of the Black Widow. Tunic into CNC. Okay, so this is not too bad. We go to 13 here. We can play out some auras on our turn. Then we have the Wee Wrecking Ball, which we could also use. You're going to have an arsenal set up as well. So the question is, I guess, like, we could actually play both of these out and then still play the Wee Wrecking Ball, which is kind of funny. Maybe that's the plan. I don't know if we need the Palm to pop, though. Right, so nothing further this turn. Let's go ahead and play out both of these. I'm just kind of wondering where we're actually moving the counters here. Draw a card. Turning Point is not useful, but we could actually just throw that in our arsenal and hope to Crown of Providence it away. Actually, maybe we were supposed to palm earlier in this turn because there's a chance that we could have actually drawn into that. Yeah, I just didn't think about that. Also entirely possible. So let's go ahead and actually move the counter from... I feel like we don't want the tension to pop just yet. Maybe the tension popping is like fine next turn. Let's go ahead and remove it from the tension and then put it on the... What happens next, I guess? Just keep it around as long as possible. Maybe sending in the Wee Wrecking Ball here is actually not too bad. It's for 11, which could be mildly annoying, especially if they have like an arsenal they want to keep. All right, so we definitely made a couple misplays this game. I would say like probably more than 3 or 4 misplays, which is probably where a lot of the difficulty in this deck comes from. But the nice part is it's not that far off, it feels like, you know what I mean? So they unfortunately have React here. Unlucky, but fine. So I think we are arsenaling the Turning Point, just so we can sync it away with Crown. And we don't have, or we have, or no, these are Aura tokens, right? How do we make use of our what happens next this turn? I don't know if we can. But we could also just block here. We want to keep the Shrift, or do we actually want to keep the Shrift? Maybe this is actually not really a Shrift hand. Maybe we have to like take a couple turns to actually like set up something big here. So I think I'm actually supposed to just take this. So there's Leave No, which is fine. So we can actually use the Crown of Providence here, right? Use the Crown of Providence here, and then I think we should actually probably be doing this first before anything, right? So we move the Palm, do the What Happens Next, draw Standing Ovation, which is kind of... Is that good right now? Doesn't feel great right this second, but I think it's probably fine. So leave no, banishes that, that's fine. Then, do we want to play the edge now, or do we want to play the edge later, I guess is the question. What are we doing next turn? The next turn we can actually swing with Moment Maker, Arsenal, cut a long story short, or something like that. But that would require us playing the up on the pedestal, which we would have to get back. Maybe we actually don't use the cut a long story short. It's kind of confusing to me. We could actually just like cut a long story short into go again Moment Maker, but that seems like super bad. We could also standing ovation, pitch, Arsenal the overcrowded. So I think we're playing out. I guess we're getting rid of the cut a long story short, right? I feel like this maybe makes sense, and then we try to get them with the Moment Maker and our Arsenal like the overcrowded, because we can up on a pedestal, put a like a short shrift back on top, which is maybe like our best play. But yeah, let's go ahead and put a short shrift on top. So we're drawing into something that we can put a confidence on next turn. I think this makes sense. Still just a little bit awkward though. We at least have blue overcrowded coming in as a 3-block, so shouldn't be too bad. Oh, we do have the Razor Reflex now, which is quite nice. So the short shrift needs to stay here. Stalker Steps can just give anything go again. You need to be a bit careful here. So what are we most afraid of? It's probably like +3 pump into +3 pump, which means to not die. How many codex have we seen? One codex. They can have plenty of leave nos. So maybe the correct answer is we block here and hope they can't pump to 10, which I think seems unlikely. I mean, most likely scenarios, they just give the infiltrate go again and then send something else after this. But I guess we'll block a little bit here just so we're not dying out of nowhere. And yep, so the go again makes sense here. Hitting Embolden is nothing, basically. Right, Mark of the Black Widow is pretty good. That being said, they do have to give us Hunter's Glaive if they want to force us to discard, which we're maybe actually fine with. Could actually give up the Tunic here, which is maybe actually the smartest play. And then worst case scenario, we can discard the Suspense is killing me. I don't think that's the end of the world. Maybe go ahead and give the block like this, so we're covering 4. Right, so that seems good. And then end of turn, go ahead and move some counters around. So let's move it off the edge of their seats onto the what happens next here, I think. I think this is coming along kind of okay here. We hit him with the short shrift, which is confidence. We get to Razor Reflex on it, which is also quite nice. So we're getting some pretty decent value. I think I've just made maybe one too many misplays here. I feel like this is a deck that is not very forgiving. It's kind of like Marlin, if you think about it. Like, just very, like, not super forgiving in terms of, like, the number of misplays you can make during a game. So I think I don't play this Suspense is killing me, as we can always play this from Arsenal. It'll represent another additional damage. And, like, we can also use it to, like, move counters around and stuff. So I think not playing it makes sense here. Unless they, like, give me a reason to play it. So we could actually follow up with the Moment Maker here if we want to just catch this in for 4 value. Which is also maybe interesting. Discard is Scar Tissue. They're going to have Tunic coming up too, which is a little bit scary. Oh, that's close. We haven't seen a Codex yet, so like maybe they don't have one, and maybe we just go for the kind of the more aggressive line. I could see myself getting punished by this super easily, though. All right, leave no. So this is what we're going to probably just sink on. I think we're just going to go ahead and sink. I don't even know if we actually want to sink anything here. Because Tension Air, I actually don't know if this is actually the weakest card, because you can play a Superstar for free. We cheer, and that also puts us to 3 auras if we want to like move a counter. around there. Maybe we don't sink anything. We just play out the tension and move a counter to the up on a pedestal so we can maintain the 3 auras for the moment maker. Super weird. I'm just passing here. So they are going to get a bit of flick value in, but that's fine. Sure, so we're going to be marked. And then I feel like the play here is we play out the superstar, and then we move a counter from what happens next onto up on a pedestal so that we keep our counters around. At least that's kind of what makes sense to me. The alternative play is we could have played out tension in the air, moved a counter from what happens next onto here, but then we don't get the moment maker value. Yeah, I guess we still do this. So we move the counter from what happens next to up on a pedestal. That all of these are at 3. Which feels weird, but I guess is maybe correct. And then I guess we just swing in with Moment Maker for 6 and Arsenal the tension in the air. The issue is now they're flipping into red back, which is pretty bad for us. Depends how aggressive their next hand is going to be, which I imagine is going to be decently aggressive. At least get to buy 1 card here, which is kind of nice. So could really use maybe that last turning point that I think we haven't seen. I think we pitched one of them for sure. So I think with a couple smarter plays this game, I definitely could have actually gotten there. I think I'm still like just maybe a little bit far off, like a little bit off. That being said, the shelter actually could be quite nice. This hand is like pretty rough though. Yeah, this hand is like not great. Coming in for 9, they can pump it to a million pretty much. So we could just try to block out, play the tension in the air, and then hope to set up. Like, there's nothing we can basically do here, right? So we have to give 2 cards. Or actually, we don't have to give 2 cards. What happens if we say, so they can pump this to 12. We're at 6, so we have to give 2 cards minimum, right? Means we cannot play out the boulder drop. It also means we cannot play out the moment maker. So what happens if we give like 2 cards like this? They pump for 3, they go to 6, we shelter, and then we pitch Act of Glory to play tension in the air, move some counters around, and then just try to set up a big tension turn later, but then we're kind of also getting a little bit too low. I don't know. I think we maybe just we're just like a little bit short this game. Oh, and they just had like double TTox. It's pretty brutal. So yeah, that'll probably do it. I guess we're not dead yet though. Or no, are we dead? Sorry, I can't count. We have 3, 7. Okay, we're dead off the flick plus the yeah. So we are dead in fact. But yeah, I think we're actually like fairly close to that game, or at least it seemed like not that. But like we got a Marionette to 1, which is like I think with a little bit more practice, like we can probably like make up those little points throughout the course of the game. Like if we drew the turning point, like if we played the palm there first and we drew the turning point, that actually would have been kind of insane. Like I think there are actually like a bunch of little tiny opportunities that we could have kind of like made back that little point of value, maybe threatened a little bit more damage. Okay, but yeah, actually not a terrible first game. We lost, that's fine, but like the game was actually relatively close, which I feel like pretty good about. All right, let's try to get a couple more until we get those 3 wins. So it's currently 0 and 1. Let me go ahead and add that. All right, cool. 0 and 1. Looks like we got a Dorinthia. So they're going to put me on going first. So I imagine they're probably going to go for the Fat deck. In which case, I'm kind of actually tempted to bring in the Helm of the Adored. Although Credit Province for fixing is also not bad. I think we're kind of maybe going to do something like this. And then let's try to go for like the aggro plan, basically. So Snatches. Actually, maybe the Snatches actually stay out just so we can bring in the reacts. They are playing Dori. I think it's like low. Maybe we'll go aggro into them and just see how it goes. Bring in the heroic pose, maybe just in case they're like a little bit more blocking focused. Maybe we'll do like 1 Thespian Charm. Let's actually try something like this. Again, not Elly Bird, don't know sideboard as well as them, but we're gonna do our best. So okay, looks like we're playing Hatchet Story, which is maybe a deck that I feel somewhat confident in beating. Let's go ahead and maybe just double Aura turn 1. This seems fine from like a setup perspective to get confidence ticking down. I don't actually know if I'm supposed to move the counter here. I feel like the answer is probably no, right? Let's go ahead and just Arsenal a Snatch for later. All right, I'm going to start with the Hatchet, which again is fine. So what is our turn next turn? We embolden pitching the we Wrecking Ball and Edge of the Seats. Alternatively, we can just play embolden. I guess let's see what they do first, maybe. But my ideal is probably setting up this embolden next turn because we do have a lot of auras already out. Right, they got the hit and run coming in 6. You could get the 5 block value on the turning points, which is not terrible. That being said, it's a bit awkward because we already have the confidence token. It's not really doing much for us. Yeah, just a little bit awkward in general. We could actually try to a crown into something. Would that help us? I'm not sure. Let's go ahead and just take a little bit more damage, I think. But yeah, I feel like this Snatch and Arsenal is actually not doing us a ton of favors. So like maybe this is actually an opportunity to go ahead and sink it. But we could also just like double aura if we draw like a blue or a yellow here, both of which could be good. So the only issue also is like the Wii Wrecking Ball and Bolden, like pitching them both feels a little bit bad. But yeah, we'll see what we can do here. So we're gonna pop the Superstar, or the Superstar's gonna stay around. This is fine. Okay, so I don't think we played these just yet. Let's go ahead and start with the Embolden. All right, draw a turning point, which is ideal. And then I think that we're gonna just set this up, move the counter to the Suspense is Killing Me. And I guess we could play out the Snatch, but I almost don't even really want to. I kind of just want to take a setup turn and pass, especially since they're on hatchets. All right, we do have a way to use our Embolden. That being said, it is the Boulder Drop, which is a little anti-synergistic with the Snatch here. I guess the funny part is we could do Snatch Go again into the Boulder Drop, which is also pretty reasonable. We could also sink the Snatch into something if we don't want to pop it right away, which I think is also not bad. Maybe we can go ahead and actually just throw the Crown of Province in front of this. Sink the Arsenal. All right, we draw a Short Shrift, which is actually not too bad either. The one thing we are kind of suffering from is like a lack of finding our what happens next, which does definitely like smooth out the draws quite a bit. But yeah, I'm gonna take another 4 here. Hope they don't have more Go again. Oh, okay, they do have more Gogan from the Sharpened Senses. Okay. They're actually doing some kind of nasty stuff over there. All right, we might be getting a little bit... I don't even know if this is necessarily a high... It feels almost like a high roll, though. Like, how much damage do they just deal? They dealt, like, 18 damage on a Dori hand? God damn. Pretty good. Okay. So, hopefully we're going to try to turn around this next turn. So, we can play out the Active Glory. Off Tunic. It's still super awkward, though. And we also don't have the what happens next to really smooth this out. You could play the Active Glory pitching the Boulder Drop in the Active Glory. Play Short Shrift with Tunic. Maybe that's our kind of ticket back into this game. All right, and then one more, we move here to the Suspense is Killing Me. Or we could have actually moved the whatever, I'll leave it as is. We could have actually removed the Superstar, so we guaranteed have the Suspense on this, which would have been nice. All right, we are coming in for 21, which at least makes me feel a little bit better. But I do still feel like maybe we're just a little too far behind this game, which is kind of wild given that we're playing against Hatchet's Dori. But we do get to pump pretty significantly here. So you get forced discard here, and then we even out the life totals just a little bit. I think we're still in a bit of danger. But we do find what happens next. Okay. This is actually not too bad. So might have to just end up really hoping they don't have another like triple hatchet turn. But I think we're just like letting this hit now. Yeah, maybe. Evo speed. Oh my god, they are gonna have another triple or yep, they are gonna have another triple hatchet turn. Jesus. Okay. This deck is kind of wild. What the hell are they playing? We're actually just getting 3 turned by a Hatchet's Dorinthia. Insane. Okay, so I guess now we have to give up armor. And then maybe we're just playing... God, I don't even know what we're doing. I guess we're just trying to hope this short shrift resolves, which I kind of doubt. Kind of actually insane Dori deck over there. Okay, so let's go ahead and short shrift. And we can actually kind of bait them here with the what happens next, and we do have the confidence on it. So like maybe it's actually not too bad, but we're still like really far behind here, it feels like. All right, so we can at least give this on hit go again. Again, it's debatably good. We can hit this here. And I guess we can move on to the what happens next one more time, but I think we're just getting rolled this game. Yeah, this game did not feel particularly close. So let's go and give them, I guess, the captain's call here. I guess maybe we should be blocking a little bit more just to turn off the Dori here. Maybe I'm just like blocking wrong in this deck. That's also entirely possible. Oh my god, they're just gonna kill us with the swing. Oh my god, that's insane. Hold on, we gotta see like how much damage this Dori was taking. I took 26 damage on one turn and 15 damage on another. That's actually kind of nuts. Okay, so we got rolled the second game, not even close. So maybe we should have like a second like category for like not even close games, but we'll see. All right, let's see if we can maybe try to find. All right, we gotta turn this record around. We gotta win 3 games tonight, so we'll see. Another Marionette. Let's go ahead and board the exact same way we were boarding before. We could also try the boots to the boards, which I don't know if this is good into them. Maybe let's try it. Let's try the boots on the board, see if that fares any better. Maybe because we're not bringing the snatches, maybe that makes a little bit more sense. And I guess we can board in the palm and then like 1 Thespian Charm. So I think, if I remember from the video correctly, Elly, I think, always boards in like 1 Thespian Charm. So let's try this, and maybe we can also bring in like Overcrowded over, I don't know. Maybe the second palm, or maybe the third palm is actually good. Let's try something like this, maybe. All right, so we do have some stuff to potentially flash out at the end of their turn here. I think I'm fine maybe just giving up the E-Strike, and then we can maybe like palm into some other stuff. At least that's kind of the play I see here. Dagger. So I think we do want to force them to flick, ideally. So I'll give up the tension in the air as well, I think. So I imagine here we're maybe just getting into like a little bit of damage and then passing. So this seems fine. So I think end of turn, we're going to just be cycling this. What happens next? Just try to find something a little better. But we might just leave the counter on it just so it sticks around for another turn. Okay, Wrecking Ball's not bad. Definitely was me looking for like a cheap aura we can play there, but also kind of reasonable. So leaked a little bit of damage, but not the end of the world there. Okay, so we can actually Imposing Visage for what happens next now, which is probably the play given that they already searched for a trap. They're running a clean 60. So let's go ahead and grab that. So we grab the what happens next. We play the edge of the seats. Oh, actually, the edge of their seats is not going to be playable, right? Because the first card with cost 1 or more. Because this is cost 1 or more, right? I believe that's how this. We can make sure. Okay, so yeah, that's expecting the 3 pitch. So if that's the case, we could Omen Maker. Oh, we can actually remove the in the palm of your hand counter. Maybe that's actually the play. Like move the palm onto the what happens next and then play out the edge of their seats. Oh, okay, so this I think is actually the play. Cool. So we now get to play out the edge of their seats, arsenal the Wii Wrecking Ball, and then we just pass. I think this actually kind of worked out somewhat well for us. Again, I'm not sure what the correct equipment into Marionette is, or like whether or not we want to just like race this matchup, or if we want to play like a little bit more defensive. I assume the D-React package is probably for Marionette. But let's go ahead and try this Kiss of Death, or let's see what this Kiss of Death does. So on board going down to 29, we can again, the last time we threw the Iron Fist Revolution in front of the Kiss of Death, we got like bodied immediately. So I'm probably not. I'm going to try to put it on something else, I think. So I feel like blocking here is just kind of a trap, right? Just go ahead and take the damage. No sense blocking Kiss of Death ever, basically, while Tarantula Toxin exists. All right, so it goes to 26. So we have another what happens next. It almost doesn't even really feel that great. We're just supposed to eat this damage. So let's go ahead and E-Strike here, and I think I'm going to try to maybe just get a confidence token with the Moment Maker by playing out the what happens next, and then maybe just like moving. I don't even know if we want to move the counter necessarily. All right, looks like they're going to get Random Flip. Okay, Random Flip into Orb Weaver, not too bad. Probably the best one they can Random Flip into. I mean, it obviously kind of like depends on like the texture of their hand or whatever. But yeah, that one definitely pretty good, especially when you don't have a dagger. All right, so let's go and buff to 6. We get a confidence token. And then both of our what happens next are on 2, which can let us kind of do some crazy things. So I think I'm not supposed to move just yet. We could also keep 1 at 1. But I guess there's no real incentive to do that right away. Thinking about the counter management is always like very, very kind of weird with this deck. It's actually kind of cool. It's probably like one of my favorite parts of this deck. But it's also like just very, very hard to do, it feels like. All right, flipping into Orb Weaver, getting Clysra back. Okay, and they're starting on the Clave here. They don't think we're really incentivized to block, so we won't. You have some good stuff for next turn if they have a little bit of a brick turn here, but I'm a little bit doubtful. Okay, another Kiss Death, pretty good. So can we afford to just eat this again? It's always a pain, because they almost certainly have another react here unless they're just going to go like Stalker Steps into something. So I think we're not supposed to block just to play around TTox, which we haven't seen a single copy of. So they have Stains, that's also fine. So we're going to be going pretty low here. That being said, we do have our full armor still. Got some aura set up. It's not the end of the world here, but it is a little bit suspect. All right, I think we're just taking additional 1, dropping to 14. They can also flick the Kiss of Death, so we're taking additional 2 there. So we're going to 12, which is starting to get a little bit more suspect. But I mean, we could throw the Iron Fist Revelation in front of this, but it's like kind of trash if they have the Tarantula Toxin. I kind of do just want to like stave off a bit of damage though, so maybe we're just like doing this anyways. Feels pretty bad. I feel like I never actually got like a good opportunity to like use the Iron Fist Revelation. I kind of just want to like pad the life total, because like once we start getting into the 12 range, it gets really, really awkward. And so we're taking 2 here, going to 13, which is maybe slightly safer. So end of turn, do we want to do anything? The what happens next, or this is going to pop, the what happens next go to 1. The Embolden is going to get reduced by a pretty decent chunk. I think we're passing here. All right, so the edge pops. Then we can go ahead and just play the Embolden, pitching Turning Point here, hoping to draw into maybe another aura. The Emboldens in this deck are really sweet. It's probably like my favorite part of this deck, is just like getting the additional card draw super, super nice. All right, so we have Wrecking Ball, and then we can like play out another Edge of their Seats. We unfortunately are like one off just like pulling Tunic here. But I think this is like kind of okay. Not too bad. We get to play out the short shrift. I feel like the boots to the board are maybe the thing. I feel like I probably shouldn't have even boarded these in. It's kind of what it feels like to me. Like it almost doesn't even seem like it's that good here. At least the nice part is if they don't have D-React here, this Wii Wrecking Ball could be pretty annoying. Alright, so it looks like we do get the... Okay, it was a T-Toxin. Okay, we played around it. Nice. If that's the case, then... I guess we're just pumping this edge. I want to hold on to this short shrift, ideally, just so that we have something to move on to. Let's go ahead and remove the edge of their seats and put it onto the what happens next, so we have another big turn kind of lined up next turn. All right, so 4-card Marionette hand. We got rid of 1 TTox. We still have some armor to work with, so we're not in like terrible shape. It does just feel like, I don't know. It feels just like very, very like I'm making some mistake somewhere. Is kind of what I feel. Okay. Another decent hand if we can get it to line up. That's kind of the hard part, though. Again, I don't think I'm giving boots to the board to do this. Like that, I feel like the boots are actually just not even that good in this game plan. Like I feel like I maybe just want the snaps anyways, right? Seems like they're just gonna re-equip a dagger somehow. So hoping that they don't draw into the other TTox. I feel like what we're actually like losing to is more TTox than anything, which is maybe not that bad of a thing. It still feels pretty rough. I feel like we're not gonna have time to play this Embolden. Actually, sorry, we should actually maybe play out the palm before we do anything here. Play out the palm and just see what happens, because this is actually like kind of card advantage, right? Like we might as well do this now. I cut a long story short. So I think my plan is to maybe just throw armor in front of us and hope for the best. We still do have the Crown of Province in case we need to like sink away something. TTox plus to the point. Does that kill me? They've seen one of each already, so the chances of drawing into multiples are, I guess, a little bit low. So TTox puts this to 1, pump to 8. So yeah, that would kill me. You could also throw the Embolden in front of it, which is not great. I think we're actually just like getting rid of the edge in that case then. We're gonna block like 6 here. Block still feels like pretty bad though. Right, no boots. Again, I probably don't even want this now that I think about it. So there's scar tissue. Right, coming for 2 currently. They have any more, I guess, is the question. So worst case scenario here, if they do have like a leave no or something to follow up, we can just like get rid of Tunic or like block with the Embolden or something. Or you block with like cut a long story short, probably makes a little bit more sense. We are drawing an extra card next turn, so that could definitely help us. All right, let that hit. Drop to 9 here. So it definitely feels a little bit suspect. But we are alive, and we do have maybe tempo here. All right, so they're going to get to flip into Funnel Web, which is A-okay with us, I think. So these are started turn triggers. Actually, should we have... Oh, I think we... Hold on, sorry. I think I messed up. We should have actually probably moved a counter last turn, maybe. All right, so we move a counter, I think. You move a counter from the in the palm to one of the what's happens next, I think. They move it to like the second one. I don't know how valuable keeping 2 of them around is though. Definitely feels a little bit weird. All right, so we go back to 9. That's the turn, I assume, unless they want to do something different, which I don't. They probably do. All right, we do have technically 10 on board, which is quite kind of nice. Oh, and I think I influenced the RNG there. I think maybe because I undid, they actually turned into a trapdoor that time. It was a little bit awkward. All right, so now they're gonna get the inertia trap, which I guess a little bit unlucky. Oh, the sink below is just getting me today. Okay, let's start with the embolden. I mean, I'm assuming we're probably just like losing the hand here. All right, we draw imposing, which is actually not bad. So that means we can play the short shrift. Assuming the inertia trap, we get to set up an active glory, which is maybe still fine. At least gives us something to do if they do inertia trap. Oh, they're just going to eat it. Okay. If that's the case, then we can just pull Tunic and then Arsenal Sink Below here, which is actually kind of good. Yeah, I guess that's the play. Okay, so we're actually maybe in an okay spot here. That being said, they do still have 4-card hand, which could definitely get pretty annoying. But we do have another turn of what happens next. So if we draw like another palm, that could be good. Okay, I guess we actually probably drew both of our palms here. There are definitely some good draws still, though. Like tension is probably fine. Some decent ones. And we still have armor to work with, which is probably the best part of this. All right, Active Glory, not too bad. Makes the cost curve like a little bit awkward here. Oh, did they just like not play their trap? Very strange. Okay, so let's go ahead and just give them the remainder of the armor here. So we give them 4 here, and then do we want to give them any more cards from hand? I want to try to hold on to the short strip so we have something to put stuff onto. Or specifically, we need it for the emboldened, right? So we could actually give them maybe just this imposing visage, blocking 7 on 8. They TTox, they pump this, they draw a card. At least that's kind of what I'm seeing here. We can play out the active glory, pitch this, move the counter onto what happens next, and then this active glory I guess wouldn't pop. Maybe this is still the play though. Kind of throw our armor in front of it and just hope for the best. We could actually get rid of the active glory if we wanted to, but I think we're fine just maybe killing. Like, I don't think we actually need to sink anything here. All right, so we take 1, they get to draw a card. Now let's see what the follow-up is. Worst case scenario is probably like a CNC or something, but that's actually not that bad, and this cannot be give and go again, which is also quite nice. So yeah, I think the play is now we just sink below here, play the active glory, keep the what happens next round, and then just set up a big short shrift for next turn. Go ahead and sink. And then I guess we're not sinking. So let's before playing anything out, let's see what their death touch is going to be. All right, so it's going to be Blood Rot. Makes sense just to try to kill us a little bit faster. All right, then end of turn, let's go ahead and flash out the active glory. Then we'll go ahead and move the counter onto from the active glory to the what happens next here. So this will be threatening at least a decent chunk here. That being said, we're going to effectively 4, but we are going to demand quite a few cards here. Let those pop. Golden also pops, and then we hit them with the shrift. So coming in for 15, they could give us 3 cards here, in which case they would be taking lethal. If we get a 4-card block here, I think that's basically ideal, right? All right, put them to potentially 2. Take the Blood Rock, go to 4 ourselves. And they follow up with the Mark of the Black Widow, which we can, fortunately, actually kind of play around here. The only awkward thing is our what happens next is kind of going away next turn. So, like, maybe we don't even necessarily need the... like, maybe we don't need the sink blow because we can't actually use the rest of our hand. We could actually sink into something other than the Bolden, but I guess that still doesn't help, right? Like, I think we kind of just need to play something next turn, right? So we do this. We could also deny the flip if they want to like discard a card from our hand. That's also maybe fine. So like, what happens if we give them the Bolden, they flick the Hunter's Clave, they make us discard a card, we play the cut a long story short, they don't get to transform into Arachne, and then we Arsenal sink below just for insurance, play the cut a long story short. I think that's the play. That's at least the play I see. I'm going to force them to Hunter's Clave here. Because like we don't really have a great usage for the other card, and I don't want them flipping. I feel like it just takes away a lot of their agency, and we don't really actually care about the card. So get rid of the cut a long story short, keep the Wee Wrecking Ball because the on hits were. I guess there's no real world for the on hits. Oh, they can dagger again. Oh crap. Oh, I punted. Shit. Yeah, actually, now we're just dead. Now we're dead. Okay, sorry. I think I was over. I forgot about that. They can just swing the clave off the tunic there. I'm so close to winning this with this deck, but it's just like so. I keep on making like one or two misplays just somewhere. Unlucky. We might not be fully dead here, but I'm definitely. I think that the correct play there was to actually just sink below, right? I think I was trying to be a little bit too. I forgot that they could Clysera. I think if they couldn't Clysera, that's maybe the correct play. But if they can, then this is definitely like kind of wrong. Because flick range is also kind of gross here. If they're giving us 3 cards from hand, we might not be in that bad a shape though. Looks like they give us a couple 2 blocks. So holding on to 1 card plus flick knives, and they got rid of a codex, which I'm assuming probably means second codex. I have to guess at least. Oh, and the turning point's not very good here. So there's codex number 2. What do we get back? Get back E-Strike, I guess. They get back Infect, which is fine. Get this back, discard the turning point. Block here, and I guess we could also shelter if we needed to. Punted one more time, damn. So close. Right, so they don't flick there. Maybe that makes sense because they don't have another dagger. Let's go ahead and send this in for the buff. So they block 1 here, or they can block with. I think they need to give us 2 cards, which is at least the nice part about this, but we could have definitely been a lot farther ahead here. I was so close to not punting this game. Or not, like, completely punting. There's so many, like, weird opportunities to punt with this deck. At least the nice part is, unless they have, like, a Kiss of the Tier, they are going to have to pitch again. But if we're getting TTox again, probably is going to be game. I think 2 TTox, so maybe we won't get hit by the 3rd one, famous last words. And then what do we do with this hand? Hand's like pretty bad, right? Maybe the Thespian Charm's also not super amazing in this deck. Or not in this deck, in this particular hand. But yeah, we could try to just kill them with, I guess the suspense is killing me doesn't even really kill. I don't know that there are actually many good options on this hand. Go ahead and I guess just play this, and maybe we're gonna just try to like Moment Maker or something. Oh, this deck is I'm the bad player. Also, I feel like the both the Arachnes have resolved like 2 TTox into me, which is maybe just bad luck. But anyways, never lucky. I think I could have probably had that one though. It feels a little bit bad. All right, 0-3. Maybe I'm actually the bad player. Hold on. This deck is hard. I will say that. At least the initial 0-3 is making it seem like it's quite hard. All right, let's go ahead and get a couple more. I think we can do it though. All right, we got a gravy. So the board I think is going to be a little bit different here, but going first is definitely nice. So we want Crown of Providence for boats, I think. I think we just want it for. I remember from our conversation. I think we just want it for boats. So we're gonna bring in the Snapdragon, and then I think we want our snatches, probably our Scar for scars. I think we just want to do kind of like the aggro thing, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go ahead and board like this and see how this goes. I think this is vaguely correct. Let's go ahead and give this a shot though. So I think Krata Province is exclusively here just for Conquer the High Seas or whatever. But the nice part is it looks like they are boarding, not expecting the non-fatigue Pleiades, which is for us. Let's go ahead and just start with an Active Glory, Arsenal, Snatch, and we're off to a good start, I think. I think I'm gonna leave the counters on for now. No real sense in removing them. I just want to try to set up big turn. We do have the what happens next, which is real nice. Doesn't quite help on this hand, but could definitely help kind of in the future. It's actually not terrible in this hand if we go like E-Strike, E-Strike, draw a card into what happens next, tension or something like that. Okay, they are gonna start with the scuba, but at least it's scuba from hand, so not too bad. So the active glory down ticks. Let's go ahead and play the. So we E-Strike go again, snatch, draw a card into. Or sorry, we E-Strike go again at Gravy. So we E-Strike go again at Gravy. I think this makes sense. And I think the plan is to snatch snatch the dog, play what happens next, play tension in. Anyway, that should always be possible regardless of what we draw, if I'm not mistaken. Play this out. Now we get to move the counter from tension in the air to what happens next. This is assuming, I guess, they don't have a Fearless Confrontation, which they do, which is a little unfortunate, I guess. So Scuba stays around another turn, but that's not the end of the world right now. Good old Fearless. At least we get to draw a card, which is kind of nice. So maybe the guaranteed line was to like not go for the snatch, but I still think that was like maybe kind of fine. Let's go ahead and play out the what happens next, and then play out the tension afterwards. Move the counter from the tension to the what happens next, just so we can keep it around for a little longer. So should we have played around Fearless, I guess is the question. Maybe, but it's also like not that bad, at least on the current board. Like we don't have any yellows to give them, which is nice. So like they're not really generating gold off this. They can just swing with whatever. That being said, they do have a rigor now, so now their gold production does go up a little bit. What is the play on the next turn? We can. I almost just want to send a huge boulder drop at their face, but like I'm a little bit worried about kind of the allies getting out of control. The boulder drop here is pretty awkward, definitely with the Snapdragon scalers. So what is the play here? I feel like we want to play the embolden. Like the problem is if we play the embolden, there's I guess there's not really a risk that we can brick, right? Because we can always draw it right off the top. So I guess we should just go ahead and take this damage from the scuba here. I imagine they're probably just gonna hook onto the rigor. Oh, they missed the hook. Okay, good for us. Let's go ahead and pass through so we can get a win before they realize. But yeah, that's good for us that they missed the gold activation there. So let's go ahead and start with the emboldens. I think we're always guaranteed to draw something here. Ideally, we want a blue for the boulder drop. Okay, so we already used our what happens next here, so this is not actually all that useful. And now we can probably just go ahead and slam the boulder drop here, Arsenal the edge of their seats, I think is the play I see. Let's go ahead and get a little bit aggressive here. This is 17 coming at their face, and then we also get to set up an arsenal, which is great. We don't quite have the resources to play out the edge of their seats without like giving an additional card here, so we might want to like try to double aura or do something a little bit better. Alright, so it looks like they're only throwing the Crown of Province in front of this, which means they're going to be taking 15 and also putting a card on top, which actually might be kind of good for Gravy. Boulder Drop is sometimes a little bit funny in putting the card on top of the deck so that Gravy can just go ahead and use it. Funnily enough, though, what happens next actually kind of helps a little bit here. Like we can actually like double edge on their seats if edge of their seats if we want. Okay. They put a blue on top, which makes sense. It might just be looking at like another Rigor Mortis swing or something. Okay, they have the conch, which we can actually kind of dodge here if we want to just play out the edge of their seats. I think it's going to be the play. We'll go ahead and just respond to the trigger here. And then if they want to get greedy, they could go ahead and throw their hook here, although we do have the at least way to punish that with blocking with Crown of Province plus something else. I don't know if we actually like would want to give up Crown though. The Crown is pretty nice. Right. And then I think in this case we're just gonna try to keep the whole hand here. We're gonna try to actually throw the edge of their seats onto the what happens next. Just keep that train going. And we can actually play out the other one next turn. Because the Embolden will pop, we get to do a bunch of fun stuff. Let's go ahead and play out the Short Shrift, targeting Gravy. And I think the play is we can... Well, there's a couple plays here. We can actually Snaps into Moment Maker, kill Rigor Mortis if we want to, or we just play out another edge of their seats. Edge of their seats. Okay, sorry, I'm saying that right. But yeah, Short Shrift for 12 is not too bad. So if they give their full hand to this, I'm almost tempted to just take out the Rigor Mortis just so that we kind of get it out of the way. If they eat it though, I'm probably not gonna give the go again, and maybe just gonna go for the edge of their seats play. It's like they're gonna go ahead and just cover this with their hand. So I'm almost tempted to maybe just snap into swing at Rigor. I don't think it's too bad. It's kind of weird, but maybe it's actually kind of okay. It does also eat our tuna counter, which is a bit weird, but it actually be maybe acceptable just to get the Rigor Mortis off the field, because it is kind of like a lot of value, and they might not actually have the blue to like swing Scuba is definitely a possibility. But yeah, maybe not the most correct use of our Snapdragon. Again, this is my first game in this matchup, so hope I'm not doing too bad. All right, pretty actually good hand for next turn. We can Turning Point, assuming that they like attack with Scuba or something, block it out, play at edge of their seats, maybe just kind of go for like a Moment Maker swing or something. And they do have the Avasti, so I'm actually kind of glad that I took out their I guess it didn't matter that I took out their, what do you call it, their Rigor Mortis. So in this case, let's go ahead. We can make the Confidence token swing face. It's also interesting that they didn't go for the hook on this, which is basically, maybe they're playing around whatever that card is. I can't even remember. The blue one. Tegan knows what I'm talking about. The Ripple Away.
Ripple Away.
Yeah, that one.
I think that's the one.
That's the one. Okay. But yeah, we'll go ahead and block the turning point here. Oh, do the ally effects not happen yet? Hold on. Did the when this defends, if you have less life than you attack. Okay, so there's actually a rules change recently where the block cards actually now trigger on allies. But I guess that might not be live or active yet, or maybe that's like not actually like a rule just yet. So in that case, let's actually go ahead and instead of doing that, maybe we'll go ahead and just like give up Tunic plus imposing here or something like that. That seems fine. Again, we might not need Tunic counter for the rest of the game, so seems maybe okay. So there is a rules update where I think this should actually be blocking, giving a confidence here. But yeah, I apparently that maybe is like something that's not quite live yet. My opponent was telling me. All right, so let's go ahead and play, I guess, out the edge of their seats. We probably should have done this all at instant speed, but whatever. Go ahead and swing with Moment Maker. You know, we can play the other what happens next, and then move the counter from edge of the seats onto the second one here, and then hope to draw into one of our palms, I think. Made the play. I feel like we're doing pretty good here. They don't really have a ton of allies set up. They're only sitting on 1 gold. We've denied a lot of hooks as well. Or they missed out on a lot of hooks. All right, so now we're coming in for 6. Get to set up a confidence, which is nice, and then let's go ahead and move from edge of their seats onto the second what happens next. Put them both at 2 because I think that they definitely let us do some powerful things. In worst case scenario, we can always like move it back onto 1 or whatever. So this will actually let us active glory now, which is kind of nice. So you can play the Wii Wrecking Ball like Arsenal, the edge of their seats or something. It depends a lot on what they do. Like if they have like a crazy gravy turn here, we might be in a little bit of danger. But we'll see. Right, FaB. So it looks like they're going Leyline, FaB, maybe another blue here, I imagine. Maybe like a Tipple or a Swell or something. Okay, pretty good. So nice high damage turn on their side. The nice thing is, I guess they whiffed out the Swell, but they might not have needed to. We'll see how bad this is for them, I guess. So let's go ahead and take the 4 here. So what I'm hoping here is they don't have like double blue in hand or something, and maybe we're actually kind of in a fine spot. But if they can actually like pay for the FaB, we're in a pretty rough spot, right? They don't have the other allies, which is at least a little bit comforting. They did also use Dead Thread, so these like it has to be like blue, yellow, or greater, right? Which maybe they have guaranteed. Oh, looks like they maybe don't have a another blue to follow it up. Or maybe they just don't want to play out the FaB or something. Also, definitely a possibility. Oh, they're going to turn over their FaB instead of turning over Short Shrift. Interesting. Maybe they also just like don't know that they can do that, which is totally reasonable. Or maybe, yeah, maybe they want to do it now. Okay, they may just want to hook as well. Okay. Maybe they are going to still turn over the FaB. So if that's the case, so I want to like do. I think I'm just like Crown of Providencing to turn this edge of their seats into a different card. So I want to play out this Active Glory, I think. And I want to like hold on to all these crush cards, I think. So we pass here, let the hook go. And end of turn, we play out the Active Glory so that we can the counter onto one of the what happens next. We're coming in for a decent, so this is coming in for 13, so I guess we can cut a long story short and just keep them from playing out their hand while we set up the Wii Wrecking Ball in Arsenal. Oh, we also have the confidence. It's actually really good, right? Because it's just tower on hit with confidence, which is kind of nuts. Okay, so maybe we're not doing too badly. At least it seems kind of good. We are coming in for 4 base plus 5. So coming in for 15 total here. Pretty good. All right, they do gain a little bit of life off the Fiddlers. but at most they can block 2 cards, and this is just a direct on hit, so it's not like a crush. It's pretty good. It looks like it's gonna give us the blood. Oh, we did know about the blood on the water, so that actually kind of makes sense. At least the nice part is we're getting 6 damage in here, putting them to 11, and then we basically get full tempo here. Unless they have like some 0 cost ally that they can like play and swing, which I don't think is possible. This is pretty nice here. But in the Active Glory is actually really good as well. We can do Active Glory into like E-Strike, Wrecking Ball or something. Maybe actually here we're just playing out the Active Glory. And then do we want to move anything? We can keep the double what happens next thing going, but I don't actually know if that's all that good. Like, it might not even be good to get E-Strike for 7 at them. Maybe a bit tempting. Or we can also E-Strike for 13, which would at least demand a card from them. We're definitely playing here. The question is, what are we doing with it? So maybe we actually want the Active Glory to pop on a later turn. This maybe makes sense. Super awkward, though. Let's go ahead and just send in another 7 at Gravy. Let's pressure the life total, and then just hope that they can't convert past what we can like kind of play out. So I'm like hoping to draw into one of the Razor's Edge. Scar I think would also be nice. I don't think we've seen any of those. And then I'm hoping to also try to use this Iron Fist on the Wrecking Ball if possible. I think those are like my main kind of goals. Alright, so they do at least give us a card here, which is nice. So if we can get them to do like swing swap, like if they can't go super wide, which they might have a hard time doing, I think we're actually maybe in an okay spot here. Alright, so they have the Jittery Bones, they discard a Scuba, which means they can probably play out the Swabby here. I'm imagining it's just Swabby or Rigger or something. I don't know if we can beat like another 2 ally swings though, so let's go ahead and just block out the Iron Fist now. But there are definitely a lot of things that they could have that could be pretty bad for us. We do at least have some blocking value here, so we're not like super dead, but we are, I think, a dangerous spot. And the nice part about, I guess, the Iron Fist here is that they close chain, then we get to swing with it again, which is kind of funny. Or throw it in front of something again, which is kind of nice. Yeah, Sawbones is pretty good. As long as they can't go like too wide here, I think we're kind of fine. Yeah, Loot the Hold's pretty good. So what is the play here? Attack with Swabby, or the attack with Sawbones, we need to throw 2 cards in front of it. You can save the Iron Fist for another turn. Do something like this plus this. We can then play the Embolden on our turn, and then just send the Wrecking Ball, draw a random card. I think this is maybe our best bet, just to kind of eat the tempo and then set up another Embolden so we can like just keep going. The one risky part about Embolden is we might not have the opportunity to draw into another Crush card or another Guardian card, which could be kind of dangerous. Ooh, okay, the Razor I think was maybe just a little bit too late here. I think that definitely would have changed the play if I like knew, or if I like had that over like Embolden or something in the last hand. But it's still not terrible here. We can Arsenal it. Hopefully we draw like some kind of maybe aura we can play on the next turn that allows us to like or put the Razor on something. Like, we're not completely out of this yet. And again, if they don't have a way to go wide again, we could be in okay shape. So I think we actually have a lot of pretty good draws. Like if we draw a one of our block cards, that could be pretty good. If we draw like a cheap aura and they aren't able to go super wide, that could also be kind of nice. Tension could be good, but we do need to keep the short shrift here. So depends what they have. We could definitely cheese them with the razor though. All right, come on, chat. I need you to pray for a win here. We still need to get 2 more games, which is looking less and less likely, I think. Right, port side is not that bad for us. Or could be worse. Like the cards we're afraid of are most of the go again cards. So if it's just port side, which is just like making gold, I don't know that we care all that much. That being said, double sawbones is definitely like a little bit annoying, but could definitely be substantially worse for us. Looks like they're maybe just swinging sawbones here, which in that case we do actually have kind of a decent turn here. So we block. All right, so what was the play? We block with the E-Strike. We go to 2. We tension in the air, end of turn, put the counter onto the what happens next. Play the short shrift, razor it, keeping the what happens next around, and then hope that that does it. I think that's basically our only play, right? At least it's the only play I see. What a nail biter. We could still even not be winning this. Like, it's very easy for them to maybe just have, like, sync below or something, like, where they can just, like, throw their entire hand in front of it. But we are going to be coming in for 5+4 plus the base +3. So that should be pretty good. But if we get ruined by D-Rex here, then I think this might be a lost cause. Come on, we got one time. All right, so we got 13 on board. No, I'm not even, am I counting that right? 13. I think it is 13. Plus 3, so it's 16. Functionally threatening 16. There's no way they block this, right? They have 2 on board, so it's 11. They have 4 cards in hand. Seen 1 blood on the water. It could definitely be another one, though. They also fat decked, which means they're like less likely to see their D-Reacts, maybe. At least that's the going theory. Hoping, maybe. Alright, Razor Reflex, save me. Debatably, we shouldn't have even played this, but I'm imagining they probably have some way to not die. So I imagine we're probably using this anyways. One time, please? Currently we're 7 over, I believe, right? So they need to double D-React here. One time? Come on, we need 1 victory. This deck is not that bad. I think I am just bad more than anything. That's what this deck has taught me, is like I'm actually bad at like other heroes like pretty substantially. Alright, there's 1 blood. Don't have another? Come on, we're 1 over. Come on. Oh, please. Okay, we did it. Woo! Okay. We won 1. All right, hold on. Add that to the tally. Very important. All right, we won 1 game. It was against the Gravy. We didn't draw any of our tech cards, and we still won. Okay, this deck is good. This deck is good. I'm the bad player. All right, give our opponent a GG's as well. Okay, so we got 1 game. Let's see if we can at least get 1 more. I'm kind of doubtful. Let's maybe do best of, I don't know, best of 7. If we get 1 more loss, we're calling it. If we get 1 more win, I think we're in good shape though. All right, 3rd Marionette. We can do it. No one's playing anything else apparently. So I didn't like the boots of the board, so we're going back to the snaps. And I think we're running Crown, and then I think we run snaps, but we don't. Like, I still don't know if we run the snatch, is I guess the main question. It feels like weirdly clunky. Like I'd almost rather be running like the something like this maybe. Let's run this instead, I think. Maybe it's a little bit safer than the snatch. Or we could also just be trying to like aggro race, but I guess I don't know. I don't like the razors a lot. Let's go ahead and just run it like this then. Still feel like maybe the snaps is correct, even if we're not running the snatch, but we get to start on a palming your hand, which is nice. Arsenal Sink Below, also potentially pretty good. So I guess if that's the case, maybe we don't really care all that much about the suspense is killing me. Maybe I'd rather just like go ahead and get some card filtering out of them, and then just Arsenal Sync here. All right, so they are boarding for Fatigue Platies, which I think is good for us. They're also getting rid of 1 Codex, which is quite nice. So the nice part about this deck is that people will often like overboard into you, which can kind of give you a little bit of an advantage. And I kind of like decks like this where it's like, ooh, you don't know what I could be playing. I could be playing like anything basically, right? So let's go ahead and eat the 5 here. And again, they're probably more than likely just going to flick anyway, so it doesn't really matter if we block or not. Right, and a to the point as well. So we don't really care about getting Codex, so I guess we might as well go ahead and sync here since they don't have an attack they played. Let's go ahead and maybe just get rid of the turning point here. Or do we even want to sync anything? We can play the edge of their seats, like imposing for the what happens next. I almost feel like syncing here is like maybe a trap. So I think we're not going to do it. I think their hand is actually kind of good as is. So we could end up playing the edge of their seats and like move the counter. But that's probably bad. Go ahead and just save the plays for our turn. All right, Black Widow flip, not too bad. Let's go ahead and imposing here. We'll get our what happens next, and then we can play the... I guess we palm first and just see what happens. So we get rid of the palm, draw a card. All right, Boulder Drop, potentially kind of good. Move the counter here, play the edge of their seats, and then we use our next plays to move the edge to the what happens next. So I think we got something somewhat decent set up here. Again, I keep trying the Razor Reflex with the Boulder Drops, which is, I think, like, kind of one of the reasons why Elly, like, hesitantly put, kind of, like, Boulder Drop in this deck. It feels like there's not really a better card, but, like, it kind of is just, like, the best. Like, there's not a ton of Crush cards, I guess is the issue, right? So I kind of like throwing the Iron Fist in front of here. If it is TTox, and they can still, like, minus this, which is kind of annoying. Oh, I do want to block this, but I also don't want to overblock it. Let's go. So we just need to hold on to the blue is the main thing, right? If we can hold on to the blue, then I think we're chilling. So let's go ahead and just Iron Fist and maybe turn over the Boulder Drop. We go for the stains here. So let's hope there's not more follow-up, because ideally I'd like to just throw the shelter on this. Oh, I did forget about the Black Widow, obviously. Okay, we're at the point in the night where I'm maybe just punting, which is fine. Actually, this isn't that bad for us, right? We can actually just kind of dump our hand here. So what if we just go ahead and do this, and then let this hit, play out both of these so they don't get a banish? I mean, it kind of sucks, but I think it might be okay. Oh, we can also play the what happens next first here, right? And then play the edge of their seats, so that it gets, like, discounted. Because the first card with cost 1 or more you play this turn. So I think we let this hit, and then we play the edge of their seats first, right? So we play this. Hope they don't have, like, any arsenal disruption would probably be the worst case scenario. Okay, so they have the leave no, which is fine. It does mean we have to, like, give up on the Boulder Drop here, though. That's, like, actually not that bad. So we lost the counter, which is a little bit annoying. But we're still, like, kind of in a fine spot. Another question is, like, do we want to move anything here? We could move the counter from the what happens next onto another what happens next. Which is maybe good if we want to maybe play out an aura on the next turn anyway. So maybe we're going to go ahead and do that and just set that up to 3. I think that makes sense, especially if we want to use our Pleiades ability. Which we could this turn with the Active Glory. But yeah, they're definitely off to, I think, a pretty good start here. I'm just kind of hoping that their fat deck eventually kind of catches up with them, and they're not able to kind of prevent... They're not able to present as much damage, maybe, if they're running, like, some of our D-Reacts or whatever. That's kind of my goal here. So let's go ahead and pass here. We unfortunately don't have a confidence set up, which is also a little bit annoying. Having a confidence on this hand, I think, would feel like a pretty big deal. They're also just dealing so much damage. Maybe my mistake here is I'm like playing into marionettes. Like unironically, this matchup does not feel amazing sometimes. I don't know. We're kind of just getting like rolled over here a little bit. All right, Mark of Luck would follow up, so they can flick the clave at us again, which is annoying. But I guess I'm gonna like just make them do it. Like make them flick the clave. They don't get to transform. They don't get to do anything. They get to make us discard, which we just discard. I guess the standing ovation or something. So I'm gonna make them do this here. If they want to go off clave, I think I'm fine with that. It looks like they're maybe smart to not go off clave here. And then do we want to active glory? I think we do, right? So we can put the counter on the what happens next. Set up a pretty big turn next turn. I guess we have an opportunity to catch up. That being said, it's I don't know. Feels like we're still like so far behind, but maybe I just need to get into the revered mindset of like being behind and like catching back up or whatever. Okay, but yeah, we can go ahead and start with the Embolden, which draws another card, and then play the cut along story short after. Superstar is like kind of whatever. You can play it off Tunic, I guess. But yeah, I guess we're just going for the cut a long story short. At least buys their hand, most likely. But yeah, kind of unfortunate that we don't have like confidence on this or something. It feels like the confidence is just like so inconsistent, maybe. All right, so they give us the full hand, which makes sense. And the question is, do we want to snap this at all? I think that's probably not wise. Okay, and they're just going to block 14 on us, which is fair. All right, well, we got them below 40, which is, I guess, something. And then we do get to set up the Superstar in Arsenal next turn. So, like, I mean, we're in okay shape. This doesn't feel great, though. What's our play here? We can play Edge, move the counter. We have to play a Guardian attack, though, which is actually surprisingly annoying here. Or we can play Tension, actually. Wait, is Tension actually... I think Tension actually is maybe the best play here. We play the Tension. Again, the issue is the Superstar... Like, the lack of confidence is actually kind of annoying. So we move the counter from the Tension to the what happens next, I believe. And we can E-Strike go again into Drift, which is pretty good. And then we have like a Superstar we can also just like set up. So I don't think we're in that bad a shape. But yeah, bottoming the edge of their seats does feel like a little bit rough. Let's go ahead and play out the Shrift. Shrift for 9's not bad. And like we are catching back up at least a little bit. So I get them to discard a card. So the life totals have actually evened out. Okay, this is actually not that bad. So on the next turn, we can play out... Well, actually, do we want to play out the Superstar this turn or the next? I've only seen one Codex. They probably have two more. Keeping an Arsenal is kind of tempting. That being said, if we don't play the Arsenal now, then we don't get our what happens next value. We were fine not getting the what happens next value for like one singular turn. I think that's actually maybe okay. Ooh, Thespian Charm. Is there anything fancy we can do with that? The fundamental issue here is that the act of like super awkward. Maybe we should have played out the Superstar. Oh, why is this deck so hard? This deck is like actually hard. Holy crap. So we play out the Active Glory. We can block with the Wii Wrecking Ball, but no. So the play I'm seeing is like we try to swing with Moment Maker somehow. The way we swing with Moment Maker is we play out the Active Glory, pitching this. We block here. I want to like not take this damage, but they can also like flick anyways. Okay. So maybe we're blocking with the Wrecking. That's the play. See, because we can Active Glory, pitch this, Thespian Charm back a blue. Maybe the line I see. And super awkward. Because I want them to like pay into the clave as opposed to getting like the free mark. Right, maybe a CNC here, which is fine. So that means we can play out the Superstar for free. So we can play out the Superstar, like bounce it back to hand or something. Very strange. Play this out. Resolves. We move the counter. Deck is breaking my brain. All right, so we move the counter from the Superstar onto the what happens next. We then bounce, pass on this. We bounce this with Thespian. Bounce. I guess cheer, sure, why not? So I guess we can bounce there. Lots of confidence being made, but it's kind of all triple confidence. Very, very cool. So we play the Moment Maker. Well, now the Moment Maker's not even coming in for the full value. Was there a better line? We could have bounced the... We bounced the what happens next. That goes back to hand. We play it. We play the Active Glory. This still doesn't work, right? Okay, this deck is like actually paining me right now. And then the Active Glory is delayed. Maybe I fucked that up still. Oh, this deck is so hard. I think this is more deck hard than like I'm doing something actively wrong. Or maybe I know I'm definitely like doing something actively wrong. It's just like the deck is also just like very hard in and of itself. It feels like. All right, Bloodshed. You get TTox out of the game again. No. Why? I feel like this matchup in particular just feels like very bad. But if we do not block, we die. So we might as well give them cards here. Guess we give them Active Glory. Then we're just gonna get TTox, and then we're gonna lose. I'm having fun. Oh, no TTox. Okay. Sorry, I spoke too soon. Maybe they draw into TTox, and then we're dead. But I think, I don't know, this matchup in particular just feels like super rough. Maybe my actual lesson is I need to stop playing it in Marionettes. Or maybe I just need to get good. Maybe one or both of those things. Alright, so we do need to give them another card here so that we're not in dagger range. But they have used their last clave, though. So we can go to functionally 2 here, which is theoretically safe. Then we can like play the Wii Wrecking Ball out, get a little bit of value. Could also just like Arsenal pass or something, and then like throw the Iron Fist in front of something or whatever. A little bit of a dire scenario. I guess we're dropping to 2 and then maybe trying to just set up the Wii Wrecking Ball and Arsenal or something. And I guess we can... I think I'm actually not supposed to do this, right? I think I'm supposed to leave that on the Active Glory. So I guess we Arsenal this maybe. Okay, so we need them to brick like super hard, which it looks like they're not going to. And then we can Iron Fist. We need to give them 5 here. Go ahead and give them... I guess the tension is technically like playable for 3, so we should give them the Active Glory here. Turn over the Wii Wrecking Ball, and I guess we can like the counter before they get a chance to like close chain or whatever. Right, so now we put. So the nice thing is, I guess they can't flick here, but we probably are still. I mean, there's no like we actually I don't think can win against TTox, right? So hit me with the TTox and then call it. Okay, I think go against not worst thing in the world. Well, it's actually probably bad because it means they have follow up. Oh boy, another CNC. Okay, now I think we're dead. Actually dead on board. Okay. Maybe this matchup's just bad. I can accept this matchup's just bad. Or maybe I don't even know if it is that bad though. Felt pretty bad. Or maybe I'm just bad. Some combination of the two. All right, 1-4. All right. If we lose to the Fang, I think we're calling it. I feel like we can actually maybe beat a Fang though. All right, so what do we want to Fang? Probably the Crown of Providence. Fang doesn't block very well, so we don't probably want the boots to the board. I think we just want the snaps. All right, let's just do the full aggro game plan. I think it's the plan. Overcrowd's tempting. Bring in like a one spicy little overcrowd and maybe just the palm plus this. All right, I'm just gonna run like the normal board with Snapdragon Sailors, the Crown of Providence. We're gonna try to fix this and see how this goes. Again, this is the case of me. Okay, so I feel like Marionette maybe just not a great matchup. Especially if you don't practice. Maybe that's like the actual like real thing I should be learning from this. Oh, they are on the full like fatigue package, which I think is good for us. So Marionette seems rough. I feel like into the gravy we're doing okay, and then what did we play it? I thought we played against something else. I think I'm just supposed to say maybe we're gonna block with the here. Maybe I'll block with the embolden. Try to play out tension in the air. If they like pump a ton on this, then we can maybe just like play out these 2 auras or something. They're just going for a blistering. I think I'm like kind of fine just taking one. Okay, looks like they're going to go a little bit over, but it's fine. Yeah, we can kind of dump our hand to just play out some auras here, so it's not too bad for us. Definitely feel like this is maybe a matchup where we kind of want to go first, ideally. But in the end, it doesn't seem too bad. So now the question is, do we want to actually remove the counter from the tension in air and put it on the suspense is killing me? It's probably worth it. It does mean that we have to like actively attack next turn, which is maybe kind of weird. Let's go ahead and play out the tension. And then play out the suspense is killing me as well. So I think we are probably supposed to move it just so that the suspense is killing me lasts like another turn. Otherwise, we're only just getting the one value out of it. Go ahead and do that. All right, so the tension popped, so it means we do have to play something this turn. Let's go for. I guess we might. We're always gonna play out the what happens next just to get the counter on it, right? We might as well play the what happens next and then pitch to the palm here just so we can draw a card. Active Glory is actually bad, right? It's not. I mean, it's fine, but I don't think playing it out is actually the correct play here. I think this is actually just a moment maker Arsenal be Wrecking Ball opportunity because we want to make sure that we can get our like Iron Fist Revelation going. The suspense counter is definitely relevant, especially if it can die a lot of dynamo value, which could be pretty solid. So coming for 11 again on turn 1 is not too bad. And we also have a bunch of value on the board as well. So I think what we do is we move the palm. Oh, double Hunson block is kind of rough. Oh, we already used our Pleiades, actually. Oh, that's a good thing to actually keep track of. So we can't actually down tick this turn, but it still should be fine because we don't have like anything we're trying to like urgently pop here. This is actually a hand that can just like, go like double aura, which is kind of fun. Being like double aura. The only issue is the suspense is killing me gets kind of a bit worse. I guess what we could end up doing is just moving the suspense is killing me onto the what happens next. I mean, that's not terrible if we just want to like take a setup turn. So let's go ahead and maybe just throw the Iron Fist in front of this. You know, no real reason to like not block against Fang. Harsh terrain. Okay, well, that's basically a do nothing against us, which is kind of nice. So that's actually really good. Like they're running cards into us that they would want to play into the other Pleiades, but not into this Pleiades, which is funny. So the one awkward part, if we want to do all this, is that the Wrecking Ball gets a little bit worse. How do we want to do this? So I guess we play out this, for sure. We have Tunic counter coming up. So we can Palm, move the Palm onto what happens next, I guess? I feel like when I see like 5 auras on the board, I kind of get a little bit overwhelmed with this deck. So, okay, so this is actually good. We can play out the Razor now. Do we want to play out the Razor? So let's go for the Wrecking Ball here. And then maybe just play out Tension plus the Razor. Something like that. Definitely a bit awkward. The nice part is this costs 0, so this costs 2. It just does mean that we have to go off putting the Wrecking Ball on our soul, which is maybe not that bad. Alright, so let's go for the Razor here. So they can't block with another card because of the Confidence, which means that we are blowing up their arsenal. So pretty sick. Some kind of actually nuts value there, assuming that they don't have like a D-React in Arsenal or something. Okay, we get it safer. That's actually kind of insane. Okay, so we're doing a lot better this game. Mainly because we've not been playing against the hero Arachne Marionette. But yeah, maybe against other heroes, this deck is like pretty okay. Again, definitely could be a case with this deck where I'm just being bad, which is par for the course. And so Obsidian Fire Vein. Again, we don't really need to find a Guardian attack immediately. So like I think our plan next turn is like set up the Embolden, maybe swing with the Moment Maker or something. I think we can even delay the counter here by like moving the edge on their seat or edge of their seats. Or no, we want to move the suspense is killing me onto the edge of their seat or something like that, right? Maybe. All right, for the Drakai. So this coming in for 4, go to 28. Are they going to 3 fealty off of it? They're already at 3 fealty, so this hitting is basically irrelevant. So let's go ahead and just let this happen. If their plan is to play the Embolden, we want to move the counter from the suspense is killing me onto the edge, so we maintain the 3 auras, right? And that'll let us potentially swing with the confidence token and then like set up, or swing with the moment maker, try to set up a confidence token, something like that. So let's go ahead and do that. So we'll move this here to the edge. Here. All right, we should be looking pretty okay here. Okay, so let's start with the Embolden. So hoping for a blue here, but we do have other okay draws, I think. Cut a long story short is fine-ish, right? We actually want to kind of arsenal that though, which maybe we just hold on to like we IP with both the Razor and the cut a long story short. Maybe that's actually the play. So we can then swing with the Moment Maker, which will probably buy 2 cards. I guess we're like double IPing with both of them. I don't know if that's correct though. Because we do also want to like keep the what happens next to around, which is awkward. Like we have a pretty good setup here. The issue is just like trying to keep a guardian card in hand is maybe a little bit awkward here. We couldn't pull Tunic and also like pitch the Razor plus the I think if there's like anything different we could have done. Alright, so they're gonna give us 6 here, which makes sense. Let's go ahead and Arsenal the well, the cut a long story short doesn't have Crush, which is a little bit awkward. So I guess Arsenaling it doesn't even matter. So we might as well Arsenal the Razor because it's like might need this for pitch theoretically. All right, kind of a funny hand. I guess we're pretty much saying no blocks to whatever they do here, though. The funny part is we can play the in the palm of your hand, which is actually kind of nuts here. So we play the in the palm of your hand. We probably should have done this before blocks, but whatever. It is functionally probably the same. But what it will let us do is basically move the counter from the in the palm to the what happens next. That being said, we can't really get the edge of their seats back online, which is fine. So we'll take the counter to what happens next. So everything's going to be popping at the start of next turn, and we need to play this cut a long story short to get the max value. And we can even double raise or reflex it, which is kind of nasty. So could very well be eating their hand, especially if they have like any number of no blocks or something like that. Here Devotion, again, not a huge deal, I think. Right, finishing on 1, maybe, or just 1. I thought they had maybe an Arsenal there. Okay, so this should be our big turn. That being said, they do have maybe a lot of blocking equity, so I don't know how much damage we're actually going to be leaking, but it should be, or how much are we doing? 5 plus 5 plus 4. That's 14 plus 8, or 14 plus 4 is 18, plus 2 razors is 24. It's pretty good. We do have to pitch the boulder drop, I guess, or it depends on what we draw. Right, so draw the imposing. That works. So we play. Cut a long story short, for sure. And then we play the edge of their seats, move the counter, double reflex. Is that the line? I think that's the line. This is pretty good. Okay, this deck. Okay, this deck is not bad. I think the biggest struggle I have with this deck is like maybe playing into like maybe I'm boarding wrong into Marionette or something like that. It's entirely possible we should be running like the snatches or something. Maybe this is the case where I forget exactly like what Elly was telling me to run into Marionette. Entirely possible. It's been a long couple of weeks. Oh, they're saying that was really cool. Thank you, opponent. It is pretty cool. This deck is cool. I will give it that. It's very, very cool. All right, so now we go for the Razor from Arsenal. And then I think we also play out the second one, if I'm not mistaken. I think we do. And then we also want to play out the edge, I think, on top of that as well. It is a little bit awkward here because keeping this what happens next round might start to become a little bit difficult. Oh, we can't even move the counter just yet. But that's still fine. We're still playing this out pretty much always. And I think, yeah, we're still just throwing the other one on top of it as well. So pretty big damage swing there. And again, if they don't get to keep any cards in hand, it means their fealties are going away, which is also a pretty big deal. Yeah, actually kind of sick into Fang. Oh, I guess what we could have also done is like done Razor into like Boulder Drop or something. Is that actually more damage? Maybe. I did not actually count that out. All right, so that actually might be a minor misplay there. Maybe we actually should have done that instead. The nice part is it might not end up mattering here. We can actually bounce Thespian Charm, replay out the what happens next, and then move the counter onto it. And then we don't really even have to block this Dewey. Or, again, yeah, we're going to just go and take this damage. So we Thespian, cheer, bounce. Bounce the what happens next, and then we replay it, and we can move the counter onto it. Or I guess we don't have to replay it during this turn, right? We can just kind of bounce it back to hand. I guess it's the same, right? Or we could actually like pop the edge of their seats manually if we wanted to. Oh, this deck has like a lot of weird sequencing. Like, it's surprising how much, like, it's kind of annoying more than anything. I don't know. Maybe it is kind of fun, but like, so weird. All right, so Captain's Call. We buff power. Or no, do we go again? Or no, we buff power because we already have go again, right? So then we play out. No, did I do this wrong? Or no, sorry, actually, maybe we don't play out the Captain's Call. I think it's actually more damage if we just snaps this. So we play the Shrift, I think. And then we like, what happens next? Snap this. Play Moment Maker and then move the counter from here to here. Oh, why is this deck so fucking hard? This deck is like kind of crazy. All right, we snap this, I think. We play the what happens next. We move the counter from the edge to the what happens next. And then we swing Moment Maker for 9. That's the play I think I saw. Again, whether or not that's the correct play, anybody's guess at this point. Seemed like the highest value line, though. Maybe. All right, turning point, a little bit awkward here, but not the end of the world. The imposing could actually be pretty decent here. We still have like an edge on their seats. We have some active glories we can get. It's not too bad. I feel like I'm just Chrono Providencing here though, just to like find some like anything that's like marginally better. Like maybe we get rid of the turning point just to like find either something that blocks better or just something that attacks a little bit better. Like E-Strike's a better draw, or is there better draws, that kind of thing. The funny part is we can like moment make them out of nowhere here too as well if we wanted to. The only awkward part is we don't get to Visage, which is a little weird. I actually kind of like the sneaky play here. Maybe just going for like block 3, double suspense is killing me, something like that. Because they might not actually like fully block if they're not expecting like double or something like that. He was still wrong to get rid of the Visage though. I don't know. Deck is giving me a headache after like a long day at work. All right, so we play double aura. This goes to 6, or this goes to 8 rather, because these will both pump by 1. So we can potentially threaten a confidence here, and then move one of the counters onto the what happens next? All right, so they do have a smoke out to try to cover some of this. At least the nice part is they don't get their fealty back, so they're always going to be a little bit behind here. Oh, it looks like that just kills them. Okay, so we did actually manage to kill them there. I forgot that they only blocked with their 1 dynamo. Maybe just not expecting the 4 pump there. Okay, so we're 2 and 4. Okay, it's not actually that bad. I think, this deck, I think it maybe struggles in the like, I don't know. Like, Marionette maybe is not as bad as I think it is. Oh, GG's. A bunch. All right, we ended 2 and 4, which, okay, we're above the 25% win rate, which is good. I think 2 of those games were really close in the sense that I think if we didn't punt, then it actually would have been fine. But I think into like the non-marionette, we played against 3 marionettes for what it's worth, and I think that matchup maybe like takes a lot of practice because like that matchup did not feel great the other 2 times we were playing it, or maybe it just got rolled or something. Who knows? But anyways, I think this deck is like not as bad as at least the Talishar stats are making out to be. Again, 33% versus 25%, maybe not all that big of a difference. But I played less than 10 games in this deck, so maybe with a little bit more practice, we can kind of get there and maybe get the community win rate up a little bit. Maybe put some respect on Elly Bird's name, that kind of thing. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. Again, long recording session. We went 2 and 4. Which again, I think we could have done a little bit better. Maybe Marionette's just like a matchup that I don't fully know how to board into or whatever. But I think the deck is still like really good. Like I think it's deceptively good if you practice a little bit. I think you definitely can get a little bit better at it. All right, but yeah, thank you all for watching. Again, I'm not like the expert on this deck. I've played less than probably 15 games at this point, maybe something like that. But I think with a little bit more practice, I think this deck is actually definitely better than the 24% community win rate, which I think is a little bit low, especially for this deck. But again, deck is hard. I think there are a lot of challenging matchups for this deck right now. And I think that maybe with the release of some of the new compendium cards, which our spoilers going to be tomorrow, I think, based on our video. All right, but anyways, thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. And again, this deck is a lot of fun to play, but it's also very hard. There's a lot of like really weird sequencing stuff that I think you have to do, which I think is what kind of explains the community win rate. I think this deck is better than kind of like I give it credit for. I think with like a good sideboarding plan, which again, go rewatch the Elly Bird video. I think we talk a lot about some of the sideboarding notes. Again, maybe not in too much detail, but I think like the core stuff is there. Like always run your Snapdragons and Crown of Province is kind of like your default, and then the other equipment is there kind of to support that as well. But anyways, thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. And a special thank you to all the folks who decided it would be a good idea to give us $2 on Patreon. We really appreciate the support, but it's obviously never required.